before it gets started, hello, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer here with a second start on everything. Hopefully we are working all right. It looks better. Okay. So since we're all ready, let's get to playing. Oh, we're with Dino.
Yep.
And Gaming Brother.
Yep.
So we are going to battle. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to be moving up the left-hand side of the map, sort of. Be right in front of a bunch of stone. But good placement. They have a bunch of speed limits here, 50, and on these streets it'd be like somewhere speed limit between 25 and max 35. I don't know what they're thinking.
I think I'm going to be arrested to being too slow.
Yeah, that could happen.
Now I'm getting up into speed. I'm speed 50. Running over that sign over there.
Yeah, but those signs, the speed 50 signs are in miles per hour, and we're going nowhere near 50 miles per hour.
I don't know how much 50 miles per hour is.
Yeah.
I have kilometers per hour.
Yeah. I see this guy here. And now he's explodified. Okay.
Oh, I'm not going here. Good job. I'm coming here. Should I scout them?
There, if you can.
I can scout. I can't
Be
see
careful.
them.
Deep.
Oh, there they are. Or get scouted. Critical hit.
Good job.
Oh, he's still there.
Yeah, be careful. There's this one here.
Hello.
Hey, Eric.
Hello!
I'm enjoying myself some Vietnamese Rising Storm, and I'm enjoying using the Owen gun, which is a very interesting firearm.
Yes, it is.
It's fun.
Sorry, gamer.
I don't like the sights on it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going away from here. Ow. My barrel. Gamer, can you help me repair?
Well, I'm dead. Dino might if he's feeling like
Dino.
it. But he
Sorry,
may be,
I'm currently
busy.
shooting enemy tanks.
Yes.
How has your week been, Gamer?
It's been uneventful. Getting
Also,
some stuff packed up here, which is good.
I just wanted to let you know, I ran it through my boss with the whole, at some point in the start of this year, or whenever really, like at kind of short notice, if I could take a 2 to 3 week long vacation, and she was okay with it.
Well, cool.
So,
Yeah. I don't have an Owens gun yet. They're not. I haven't seen one around here. Guess you could build one. That wouldn't take
Oh,
a
come
lot.
on.
Tube.
Yeah, I wonder, do they use the same bolt as a Sten, or?
Well, I know that it started off as the Sten, but then it's changed a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the mag is going vertical
But the
to.
internals as well. It has a
Okay.
really special like dust reduction system, of like having like
Right.
it has some like cylinder walls on the inside,
Okay.
like some
Yeah,
discs.
I don't know the inside of the gun at all, so.
I
You give me-
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ice won.
No, you were saying something.
No. You're saying something.
Yes, but you were also saying something.
Yes, but of course, but you did something as well. You must say something.
All right, very well. The only thing I know about that was that I really liked using it back when I played Day of Infamy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's the one World War II shooter I played some time
I
ago.
like Day of Infamy. Yes.
I used to love playing Day of Defeat.
Never played that one.
Fuck. God damn it, dude.
I
There's these
got 3
Vietnamese
of them
people
in
with
front.
double-barreled shotguns, and it's doing better than like most weapons in this. Gotta love buckshot.
Yeah. Well. That I would say would be highly uncommon in actuality. But that would be
Yeah,
just
I think
me.
most of them had AKs and such.
Yeah,
Oh god!
Where?
or they would at least be using something
a bunch
like
of Stalins running around.
SKSs or most in the
Particularly
Gons. Or,
There's a
annoying.
lot
Ow.
of them. It's just that this is a game, sadly.
My
So
turret disappeared.
I need an RPG. Oh. Oh, that guy just died. Well, I'm gonna pick up this guy's SLR instead.
I'm going for plane.
I hope this thing is not in full auto.
they weren't, unless converted.
Oh, wait, no.
If you have one that's supposedly converted into full auto. They have
Yeah,
the
when you're being when you're being shot at by shotguns, that's the song you should play.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, we're losing brutally to the Vietnamese right now.
Well, maybe you should think about stopping being a capitalist exploiter of the proletariat, and then you too would start winning.
Ah, yes, yes.
I was about to crash. But I didn't crash. I see a plane.
Oh, come on.
Fuck, dude. The M1 carbine, man.
Oh, this plane is
Hey.
It's a good little
so
gun.
Yeah, I'm getting
Target
killed by a
destroyed?
gamer.
Yeah, oh, well,
How? I got a target destroyed.
good.
Did you see the video I reposted, gamer?
Not the newest one. I saw
Okay.
your one on the helmet that went,
Yep.
back and forth. Saw that one. I know you.
No, I have no
Toy Jetter
ammo.
posted that you'd put a new one, but I haven't checked that out yet.
I
I
made
have
that
no
video
ammo,
on the Craig
so...
Peterson.
Damn, I can't see it.
Right, that's right. Now that you say it, I remember.
I hope that was a
Help
friendly
me.
or an enemy. I mean,
Does someone have a... Oh, I'm dead.
We're losing here. We're losing badly.
Yeah, I'm dying badly.
Around. You didn't do any damage to me. I didn't do any damage to you. Little Swede here and a big bomb.
oh, he's up
Big
on that
bomb.
roof. Oh man. Now I know
Right.
where you are.
All right, this is kind of funny. Whenever you say something, I'm half thinking that you're playing the same game as we are. So I was like, wait, there is a
Yeah.
tank on a roof?
Yes, 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 yes.
Apologies, apologies.
No, it was a funny thing.
Yes.
No, well, we've lost anyway, so maybe I
Yeah.
can shoot that annoying bomber down.
Yes.
Gamer,
Yeah.
should I test bringing the Puma into a game? 8.3?
Yeah. It probably won't do too much good this late. But
Oh,
well, you know, if you play those things right, you can, and on the right map, you can use that as a nice scouting, you know, vehicle. But I don't know that I would want to.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's this Viet Cong that just is like hiding on the roof and just shooting us with an M1 carbine.
Right.
do you know to your left it's
Yeah.
I see him.
plane? He killed
I'm
me!
But gamer,
Oh. Yeah.
I'm getting close to 100 subs as well, which is very cool.
Right.
100.
100.
100. 100.
100.
Oh, I'm balls.
Oh, I got my friend. He has subscribed on your channel and joined the Discord.
Well, cool.
So,
Like it when friends
but he
join.
didn't want to play with us. So he has
Alright.
joined the Discord.
Ah, come on! Well, I was outnumbered like 4-1 in the sky. At least I did manage to hit some people, even if I didn't shoot anyone down.
Well, I mean, with that many people in the sky, you should be able to hit something.
Well, again, I did hit
Mhm.
someone. I even got
Good.
apparently a critical hit, but it didn't actually down anyone. So,
Okay. Let's see. Come back in here. Maybe I can kill something with my AA gun. Artillery on A.
Opa. Oh man, we're losing hard.
No, didn't even do that. Okay, I'm returning to hangar. So when you die next,
Oh,
when you die,
I'm already dead. I'm spectating you, gamer.
Yeah.
But
well,
okay.
now
I'm
I did
returning
at
to the
least
hangar
manage to
now.
shoot someone down with the AA tank.
Good. Okay.
Oh, I forgot I have premium.
Mhm.
I'm taking the Puma this time.
All right. Defeat.
Well, on the bright side, we were the best team.
What? Okay, gamer, do you think you can headshot someone with an MP40 at 100 meters away?
MP40, 100 meters. Okay. Almost by pure luck, if you're unless you're bursting, which would also be fire, because MP40 is an open bolt submachine gun.
Because the bolt smashing the thing would fuck your accuracy.
It does. That's why like the MP5 is a closed bolt submachine gun to be able to do single shot, hostage rescue type shots, as well as short bursts. Um, an open bolt machine gun will tend to push you down a bit for your first shot. So if you're talking submachine gun, it helps with that rise. Whenever you're ready, a gaming brother, hit the ready button.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do.
Okay.
Like
So
taste.
it does provide in burst fire. It does provide a little bit of a usefulness.
Hmm.
Um, it also keeps the bolt open so you don't cook off. You don't you would rarely actually cook off rounds, but a machine gun would be more likely, not so much a submachine gun. But what you will do is um, having the open bolt in between, shots lets a little more air for cooling off purposes.
Mm.
If not actually, because you don't because you're actually less likely to actually cook a round off. That's sort of the danger, but that's not very likely. What is more likely to do is have heat jams.
Yes, I know where to go on this map.
Hmm.
Is to have build up so much
B2.
heat and expansion in metal, and that jams your gun. Um,
Yeah.
so open bolt's good, but so is closed bolt for good in technical work. So yeah, at 100 yards, headshot, so single shot. That's to me
Mm.
pushing it. Pure
Okay.
luck. But then again, this is a game, and I don't know how much
Yep.
they pay attention to any of
Rising
that.
Storm is a very popular game still, even that being very old.
Well, yeah, that's not the problem. It's just how well do they simulate open bolt gun versus closed bolt gun? You know.
They're pretty good. It's not like, Arma, I believe, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't because I again I was saying on my stream the other day for Slitherine and dealing with the fighters. Um, when I've looked under the hood of some games for modding them, I'm shocked at how bad they actually are modeling reality. So
Mm.
did they even take that into account? The first shot down push of an open bolt
Mm.
submachine gun.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to,
Yeah.
I'll try and pay more attention next time
The
I
fuck
get
is
it.
Well,
that thing?
Well, but to really know, you would need to look at the code to see what it's coded to do.
That's some nonsense.
Yeah.
And I of course have absolutely no idea whether it's been coded that way or not.
Gamer, if you want to snipe some tanks, go to this place where I am at because I get a lot of kills here.
Cool. I'm not that quick just yet.
Oh, I'm not quick too, but I'm
Well, I think
already
you're
there.
quicker in the PT than I am.
Yeah.
Big slow target.
When I'm playing like 1.0 or something, this is the place where you go because all about that. Oh, didn't I hit him? What? How? I shot him and he didn't get killed. How? Wait, are they already in our spawn?
No, they're not in our spawn. They're pushing deep though. Is that in a live tank? Yes, it just shot at me. Nice shot low. Oh, alright. It's backing up. Because I'm reloading very slowly. I don't know what I hit. It wasn't an alive tank. Being plane and bombed. Maybe that should have been my first choice.
Oh, bombs. I love bombs. I love them when they don't hit me.
They've made
Ow.
a much more powerful now that you can plunk down that box of ammo next to you. It appears to be reloading your guns faster, so that a whirlwind can have almost a continuous fire
Got
rate
him.
for a long time.
Got one. Oh, that's not good. Or that's good for me.
The gaming bug is taking him out.
With my... Ow, now I'm getting strafed. My...
I love a ground-only mode. It would kill combined ammo or combined battles, but it would be fun.
Yesterday I got like 6 target destroyed in... Why am I... The engine is destroyed. Or...
See you. I fire and miss you. You're dead, I think. Yes, it's fun being bombed.
Why can't I repair? I
don't
want to
know.
repair.
I don't know.
Now I'm
Can't you
repairing. Can I repair, please? Oh, I need help with repair. I can't repair. I need help to repair.
Yeah. That's why you can't.
This
repair,
one
see?
wants to help me.
No, no one's gonna help you.
I'm gonna sit here and this is gonna be my spot.
Why are these fucking things so terrible? And why is the bloody other fighter plane completely ignoring the fact that...
Fly over me, I'll shoot at him.
Yeah, it's too late. Far, far too late.
He's dead now.
Yeah, but so am I.
Yeah. Yeah. Teach these guys not to fly in our sky.
Well, that's what I had hoped. But again, I always forget that the German planes just can't turn for shit.
All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna go. I have to.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna go play another game. So have a
Okay.
good one.
Good
I'll
luck.
Yeah,
Bye
have
bye.
fun.
Bye bye.
Oh, he died, and no one wants to help me. My driver is dead. My engine is dead. I can move a little bit, but I don't want to burn me. There's someone that can help me.
Well, I'm driving towards you. I don't know if we'll get there in time to help you, but
Yeah, it's no one here. If they come, I shoot them.
yeah.
I'm gonna try. There's no one here right now, but can be.
You got
Oh.
somebody here in front of you. It's a big heavy. Okay.
Oh, he died.
Yeah.
No. Never mind. $50.
You must be hurt really bad.
Yeah, my engine is dead. Half of my crew is dead. And my transmission is also dead. I look out. I can see if I can see someone. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Now I can move again. I think
Tried
we
landing
win.
his aircraft. Oh, he
Ellen.
blew up. He crashed it.
Oh.
He went in too fast.
This tank is pretty good. I think it has no armor. It has armor, but not much armor. And but it got a good gun. Oh, the PVKV2 is very, very near unlocked. So I can unlock the PBV 501. I'll be back.
Okay. Give me that back up so I can see what's going on. Desert.
I didn't remember this map. Oh, now I remember this map. Never mind. Is it okay that I'm following you, gamer?
If you want to follow me, you can. I'm just going along the side of the map. Nothing special.
Blank them.
Yep, flanking.
This map is fun because when you're playing like 5-on-3 and going back to 1.0 and people like going up on the hills, you can just snipe them and get very many people and kill very many of them.
Yep.
That's fun.
Somebody's gonna snipe me if I don't kill him quick enough. Right about that. I hit him, but somehow I bounced off of a PT or something.
Do you need help?
Well,
I can shoot him.
you
I
can
guess.
shoot him. Please do. He's out there long range.
Long range.
He's.
I'm coming. Around the side.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, it's
Missing
all
him?
the way there.
Yeah, missed him. And come on.
Look with the binoculars.
Oh, he's dead.
I'm coming.
He's dead.
Is he dead?
Yep, he's dead. There may
Good.
be other ones, but he is dead.
It's 3 more. But we can see them.
Yeah.
Or we can. Oh, I can see a T-34. I'm gonna back up and shoot him. Oh, it's back in like. Oh! I hit him.
Good.
Tiger is dead. It is 76B. Not a good sign. Good job.
I was so lucky. The 76's shot
No!
just hit my smoke grenade launcher.
Oh, got a guy coming around us. Just bounced off
I'm
of
coming
me.
with the PT-76.
Heavy KV. Okay. Oh no, it's an IRL. His breach is out.
It's
Oh,
the
he doesn't-
IRA.
No, ARL, I should say, yes. But maybe almost as bad as the IRA. Around the flank again.
I'm shooting rockets, so. Not rockets, but. The shells looks like rockets.
Oh. And somebody get me over there. Let me see.
E8.
Mm.
Big bomb.
Yeah.
Now I can't spawn anymore.
what is it today? This is the second time that the enemy has just managed to hit my smoke launchers.
Well, maybe you have strategically placed smoke launchers.
Yes. They're not filled with smoke, but rather with incredibly strong magnets.
That'll be an interesting.
So they drag the enemy shells just to themselves.
I'm just thinking.
Oh shit!
Germany
I
should. They
think
should have.
that's the end of my luck. Yeah, that's the end of my luck.
The wonder weapon. Okay, let me go. Oh, then somebody else gets me one. You're getting down onto.
It happens.
I'm picturing now the German wonder weapon of having two sets of really strong magnets out on sort of like antenna, bug antenna on each side of a panther to draw incoming rounds away from the panther.
Exactly.
Wonder why they didn't try that. All the other goofy things they were trying.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the secret documents were just successfully destroyed.
Maybe.
I mean, we did have plans for like hurricane launches.
Right, yeah.
And
so,
ultrasound guns.
Yeah. No, I'm not joking as to why they didn't, that they.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody making an experiment at least, or some such thing. I don't know if it ever would have gotten into field
Can you
testing,
guys hear me?
but now, yes.
Oh, I forgot to turn back my mic on.
Oh, yeah, it's not out of the goofiness that I would expect from.
The stream is not working for me at all. Just not lagging, but won't start.
Start. Well, maybe you need to because I restarted, so it may be there's a different stream.
Now it's working. Never mind.
Yeah, well, okay. Where is the? Is that him? That's a rock. I think that's a rock. Oh, there he is. He killed me. Yay. Oh.
You die. Oh.
Yeah, I died.
I'm spectating Dino and looking on the stream on.
Oh.
How many tanks do you have in the lineup?
As many as I can. Well, I have only a few.
You call that a few?
What? No, I said why have only a few. As many as you can. There we go.
But it costs golden eagles, and I don't have. I have one golden eagle.
Right. Yeah. No, I to get that many in the lineup, it does cost golden eagles. I don't do that for all nations, but I do it for Germany. That PE8's dead. Whoever's maybe shooting at it.
When I'm playing with you guys now, I'm just going to play Germany also, and play with Puma, so I can unlock the Panzer IV and then the Tiger and.
Sure. If you like.
Yeah, I'm started grinding like yesterday.
It's a grind.
I think.
Great.
You can get there.
Yeah, now I have premium also, so it's going to go much faster. Only 3 days left.
Sand.
reminds me, gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I was in the cinema for a you could almost say historic screening of a film. Was the first and quite possibly only time that the first Star Trek movie was shown in German cinemas in its director's cut.
We're talking Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when it first came out, first day.
Yeah.
Not the first
Yeah, and
showing, but the first day,
yeah,
way back when, and it was really cool to have Star Trek back.
mm, yeah, and that's like I'm not sure if you've seen it, but that's a fairly recent director's cut.
Yeah,
Of
I
the
don't know that
film.
I've seen the director's cut.
Like apparently it's like there are multiple, with this being the final and most recent. And Paramount has recently been apparently purchased by someone who no longer allows people to make screenings of like the old or movies. So the cinema I was at initially was initially hoping to show all the classic Star Trek movies, but that's now no longer possible. But they were still just able to convince them to allow them to have two showings, one in English and one in German, of Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I do know that um, some of those issues may be residuals that they might have to pay the actors.
I don't think it has anything to do with that, because that was only happened after the purchase. Before that, they had little to no problem with and had agreed. It's just after the
Right.
purchase, the new owners pretty much threw away all the previous agreements, just barely allowed that one
Right.
to stay. And I mean, they also closed down Paramount in Germany and fired the entirety of, and of course, fired the entirety of the staff.
Well, that's probably a good idea, but I think just about everybody in Paramount should be fired.
Yeah,
They haven't made
yeah,
anything good
but it
in
of
however
course
many
also
years.
included the liaison the cinema had with them, who pretty much allowed the cinema to
Right.
um have pretty much like get these like permissions to show
Is it
these old
like
films.
Skydance or somebody who's bought them or something? I don't.
I have no idea. I just
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
the people at the cinema were quite pissed off and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. I'm more pissed off at what they've done to Star Trek. Well, I'm going to go grab a Coke and be right back. So hang loose
Yeah.
for just a moment. Look at this nice picture of an Ostwind. And I will be right back. Right, almost back. Hello, Time Achiever.
What's up, gamer? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool.
We can hear you.
Hello.
You want to join us?
I just joined an air match after this one. Yeah, I can hop in with you.
Okay, after this one. Okay, so we'll do a next match. So we'll do this. All right.
I taking the Puma now, gamer.
Yep. Cool.
I'm gonna scout so many people,
Yep. Scout them.
and I'm gonna hide
Hide.
outside of the map.
I can't quite do that,
Oh
but
no, no,
you
but
can hide a bit. Okay. I'm
okay.
going to go towards C. I think.
I'm going near the water to see. I think. I think the enemies are going to take C first. I'm going to scout some people down there.
Yeah. If you can go scout them all, that'd be great, and I'll shoot them.
Yeah.
I'll say
in-
this now. Gamer, you actually know me from Steam years ago. We haven't talked in a long time. I just
Okay.
finally decided to join the Discord. That's all.
Cool. I'm sorry, I forget. I mean,
No,
I'm
it's
too
it,
fresh.
it's not nothing personal.
Yeah.
I'm fast.
Yeah.
I hope I'm don't gonna die. The first thing I do, I'm actually thinking can get a shot at someone. Oh, oh. If I get stuck here, I'm gonna be really angry. No, no way.
That's where you get stuck. I can't come in there and help you without getting stuck myself.
Yes, I'm not stuck anymore.
Good. Drive smartly.
Gamer, I can scout if I see someone, and then you can shoot them.
Okay. Yeah. Right here in front of me, there's a tank. It's an M6. It has 2 gun barrels, and it took out my
What?
turret. And I'm moving to cover. And
Where
it's
is
shooting
he?
me more. In front of me here.
If I
Somebody
can
just
get him.
shot him. He's over here.
Coming. I'm probably gonna die, but worth it.
Best not to.
Oh, my gunner.
Yeah, forget he's right on me here.
Yeah,
Circle
I'm
around.
gonna go and
Okay,
take him.
kill him from behind. Remember, he has
Oh, shit.
lots of guns, including machine guns that'll penetrate you.
No! I shot, but my gun didn't shoot.
Maybe damaged.
So now I have bad tanks. Like 1.0 tanks. The only 3.7 tank I have is Puma.
Well, I'll tell you, a Panzer II is extremely deadly. You know how to use it.
Speak up if you're taller than the Panzer II. I am.
I'm also taller than a Panzer II.
Yes.
I'm going to make my tank an artillery. To an artillery.
Oh, of course.
You get shot with.
Just my luck. Ah.
Well,
It'll take me like a year to even get to the sea points. I have a very slow tank, but I can get a truck destroyed with it.
Where is the? Oh, there he's dead. Okay, he's dead.
Now I can't scout anymore because I'm dead. But now I hope I have unlocked the Panzer 4 so I can
And boom.
play with that. Where did he go? And where are...
Okay, let's see where you go. But I am down to. Well, I got that. That's pretty decent.
Where is he?
There is someone over in, I think, right about there.
Hi. Oh, I know where he is. I think he died.
Just died, yeah. Black hole thing.
I think he actually did die. I'm going for the C point now.
Yeah, good.
I want to smack them. Get the heat shell.
Yes.
I hope they don't kill me before I can kill them.
Well, if you see them first, be smart.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to be smart here. Binoculars. Can't see any bad guys here. It's empty. I'm taking the point. If someone wants to help me take the point, that's okay.
I think you will have somebody helping you there. Okay.
Yeah. A Sherman. Help me take the point.
All right, I'm curious. I want to know where. I'm curious about this. I want to figure this out. Dino, I know you're from Germany somewhere. Gamer, I know where
Yes.
you're from. Gaming, I don't know where you're from. I think you sound Scandinavian though.
He's Swedish.
Ah, close enough. I had four countries to choose from.
Yes. You got in the ballpark.
Dino, what's your rough whereabouts in Germany? Are you the Berlin area?
No, no, I'm in the far north. I'm fairly close to the Danish border.
Uh,
Gonna
are you from north or
gamer.
south, gamer?
I'm from the west.
Oh, okay. So like
About
San
as
Fran?
well south of there, in LA area.
Yeah, that's what I figured. North or south. I'm from the same state.
Okay. I'm slowly in the process of leaving this state.
Where you want to head?
Arizona is where I have a house.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, getting out. Getting out. It's getting terrible here.
See if someone can come with this roadie so I can shoot them, but I don't think they're going to go here. Gamer, is it bad people over there, or is it just
I don't
out?
see anybody over here that's an enemy. I see friendlies, but
Enemies has disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I see an enemy over there. So I'm gonna look with the binoculars. Never mind, it wasn't.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Is he dead?
No, I shot at him, but he's still alive. I hit him. Now he's dead. Somebody else got him.
Oh, this is good. We are going to kill them. I hope I get a kill now, so I'm going to move a little bit.
Somehow they have B.
Ow! No, he has spawn protection. Oh, there, I'm dead. Tiger, kill him! Or is Tiger dead? I think we are going to win this match.
Yeah, I think so, but we're trying to lose it as hard as we can.
We're about to. I'm going for A, but I have so little. I have the worst tank. I guess.
I'm back.
Okay, what's your name on War Thunder?
You should be my friend already, actually. It
Oh.
is. Give me 1 second. Buying upgrades.
I got a new tank.
It's Time Achiever 605.
Okay,
My
no.
normal name.
Okay, so same thing.
I have you as a friend, I believe.
Well, maybe. I'm not seeing you here as active now.
Yeah. Let me get back out and load back in, see if that works. Or maybe if I invite you to my squad, it gives you a prompt.
We're rejecting that. But let's see if I can.
Yeah.
What did I? Well, um, Oh, different.
Yeah, you want me to get back out and
No,
try to
no,
get
no,
back in,
no,
see if
no,
that
no,
works?
no, no, don't do that.
All right.
Because you have a slightly, yeah, I not get, because I'm seeing your invite here, seeing if I'm spelling it. Time Achiever 605. Time
Should be a
Achiever.
capital T, capital A.
Yeah, well, for some reason I'm getting Silver Spur Tanker.
Yeah, that's that's the Steam name. That's the same one.
Oh, okay.
That's my bad.
Um, okay, there we are. We will invite you to squad.
What are we at? BR wise.
Well, actually, guys, you want to go to like 3.7?
Yes,
Germany?
3.7.
Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes,
German
yes,
if you like.
3.7.
3.7. All right.
3.7. I just unlocked the 3.3 Panzer. So I can play that. Yes.
I gotta change my lineup a little bit, but yeah, this works fine.
All right. I have 3.7 equipped.
I may have had you as a friend before here, but you can only have 100 friends on.
More Thunder.
Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
and so I have to periodically clear out people I don't remember. It's
Yep,
been
makes
however
perfect sense.
long.
3-7, 3-3. Checking for the whirlwind. All right.
So we got Panzer IV, Dicker Max, Wirbelwind, um,
I'll
Pumas.
put a plane in.
Two of them. Lots of stuff at 3.7.
All right, I'm ready now.
Okay. Ah. Okay.
This map.
So Dino, I know your government's having some trouble over there at the moment. Who do you think is
Yeah.
going to take over the next government?
Likely a coalition between the CDU and probably either the SPD or the Greens.
Hmm.
In other words, besides
Same
some
old.
minor cosmetics, nothing will change.
Yeah, I figured. Is that who you want?
No. In fact, I hate literally every single political party, with maybe the exception of like tiny little local regional parties.
All right.
There is no one, at least none of the big parties that I even really want to support. It's partially
Fair
probably
enough.
because I'm somewhat idealistic and I just think they're all different, just varying shades of corrupt.
Yeah, that's a fair analysis in some ways.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Sherman. Thank you, gamer.
What the hell? Well, yes, I know the young are often idealistic and want.
I'm both idealistic and cynical.
Well, okay, and
That's
cynical.
classics.
And yes, the youth can do that way. But remember, one of the major elements of politics is the art of the possible. So don't.
Yeah, the problem I have is that none of the parties are in. How should I put this? You have the quote unquote mainstream parties who are pretty much all different flavors
Yeah, the CDU,
of the
SPD.
same. Yeah, CDU,
Yeah.
SPD,
Oh,
the
oh,
Greens, and
yes,
so on. They're
yes.
all just flavors of the same
They're all
brain
Christian. They're all
dead.
basically democratic socialists.
They're not even particularly democratic. The interesting
Yeah.
thing we have here in Germany is that we live in a quote unquote democracy that is terrified of and hates the demos.
Right.
As per usual.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's
well,
even more so here in Germany, because remember the whole I mean, while playing a game with World War II tanks, the World War II mid-century Germans, because it's
Of
pretty much
course.
afterwards it was the idea, the Nazis were voted in by the people, so the people are at fault, so we must be a democracy, but we must also limit the power of the people, the ones who are supposed to be the sovereigns according to the constitution, can exert. It's why there is very little in terms of, for example, direct democracy. It's why we can't vote for the president and so on. It's because it's pretty much the lessons learned from the Weimar Republic were not that constant bickering, over the smallest of things, and constant backstabs between one another, and making promises that you cannot keep is bad. No, the lesson, and that when you just constantly fail in every single regard over and over and over again, then eventually people are going to get tired of your form of government. No, the lesson they learned was people are stupid and don't know what's best for them, and so we must pretty much give them a veneer of power, while in reality the wise politicians will handle everything in the background.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
literally, by the way, what we were taught in school. We were literally like, our teachers literally pretty much said like yeah, the Weimar Republic was too democratic. It was not like it was a sudden complete shift. It was not the sudden complete shift of one political system to another. It was not these complete destabilization. It was not the constant failures of the democratic parties to do anything. No, it was the whole constitution itself that was bad.
Right.
Guys, I need to go now.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
See you,
Bye.
Mr.
Yeah. It's just because as an outside observer, the one who has, you know, had a upper division university course in literally Adolf Hitler, and my thesis paper for it covered his rise to power. So I do have, a fair amount of knowledge on the topic, but yes, and outside, I would call the failure of the Weimar is very much a failure of a consensus of what things should be, of the government and the people. It's no one liked the Weimar. The
Yeah,
left,
I mean
the
the
right,
funniest. Yeah, I mean
the yeah.
I mean the funniest thing is that its first president, the head of the Social Democratic Party, Friedrich Ebert,
Hmm.
never wanted to be president. In fact, he didn't even want a republic. despite him being a social democrat, who at that point in time was still technically Marxist, he was incredibly angry when his second in command proclaimed the republic, like as he had wanted to preserve the monarchy,
Right.
because he knew that that would cause pretty much instability would pretty much ruin everything that came after, as there would again not be able to have a proper consensus. The conservatives would hate this republic with a passion because it
Right.
had destroyed everything that they had loved and valued. And the more extremists, this on the other side, would have wanted a council republic, wanted pretty much German Bolshevism,
Right.
and so this more like conservative, I guess you could say, republic they got wasn't far enough for them.
Right.
So it was pretty much the Weimar Republic was just something that no one, that as you said, no one liked, except for like the main branch of the SPD and like a few other parties.
Well, a few in the center, a few
Yes.
people in this, because yes, always, in the spectrum, somebody's going to like it, but there was not a consensus. And this is
Yeah, I
one
mean, you
thing
have-
that Europeans, I'm a bit older, used to talk about. Well, hey, the Democrats and the Republicans, in America, you don't have any political choice. It's all the same. Well, it really very much was, if you look at the 50s and the 60s and even into the 70s, there was a consensus in America, and the difference between a Democrat and a Republican was just technical details.
Yeah, as opposed to the Democratic consensus.
Right, and so now, we don't
Oh, shit.
have a consensus that we used to have, and so now we do have, the parties are significantly different, and so it could, from an outside observer, though I'm very much listening to what Dino's saying, it could be that, hey, most Germans just agree that there isn't much difference between the Christian Democrats and the socialists. They're just, everyone agrees. But actually watching from the outside, I don't think there is that consensus within German political thought at all. So
I think what Germany's going through is much like what Italy was doing in the 90s. It's all just the same flavor of democratic, regardless of whether they're actually democratic or not. They're all just posing as one giant moderate party, and
the
there's
main
not
thing,
giving any real choice besides the radicals, but no one's going to vote for the radicals because history, of course.
I mean, like the main thing is that that we currently have really two real opposition parties. One of them emerged as a really stupid name. It's just the name of the party's founder.
right.
Um,
I forget her name, but yeah, it's a her, right? Yeah.
Sarah Wagenknecht.
Yeah.
Which means Sarah Wagon Servant, by the way, directly translated to English. But that one was split off from the Die Linke, which itself is is pretty much a rebranding
Communist.
of the SED party. Though while Die Linke has become more quote unquote green and progressive, the Sarah Wagenknecht party is economically left wing, but more culturally right wing. It's more, I suppose you could say, it's more like
Conservative.
it's not conservative. It's still very much a left wing party. It's just that it focuses more on the economic aspects of
I see.
Left wing thought. It's more traditionally socialist, you could say. Like we are for socialism for Germany, in Germany for Germans. You could say it's
Yeah, I see what you mean.
it's like against unchecked. It's not against immigration per se, but it's against like the unchecked mass immigration.
Sort of like as if it was what would be the term? National socialism.
well, if we go with the
As
just
opposed to
what the
international
name-
socialism, but
Yes,
yes.
I mean, the funny thing about the National Socialists is that there was a party before the German National Socialists that were literally just that. They were like National Socialists, and they were like one of the Czechoslovak like government parties.
Right.
Really, the name of the German party should be more something like racial socialist, but that's neither here nor there. So
Right.
that's them pretty much there, but they're constantly mired in like scandals about them being close to Russia because they're against Germany sending aid, large-scale military aid to Ukraine, and so they're pretty much accused of being like Russian patsies.
Right. Hey,
And
strong
the
arm.
other,
Hiya.
hello.
How you going?
And
Hello.
the other party is of course the AfD,
Right.
which itself has an interesting story, as the current AfD is very, very different from the original AfD. The original AfD were like borderline libertarian EU skeptics who were tired of Germany constantly having to bail out other EU countries and pretty much wanted to either reform the euro or even completely drop it. That was the original AfD. They were not actually particularly, like, they were patriotic and right wing, but they were not particularly nationalistic, and were also not really all that much different from the CDU originally. They were just Eurosceptics.
Right. Now,
But even then
Right.
they were constantly insulted as Nazis, which is kind of funny. And eventually the party drifted further and further into right-wing populism. And its original founder eventually also was forced out and denounced the party. Now, currently they are national populists. They still have a bit of that Euroscepticism, but it's no longer the main drive, as that changed in 2015 with the whole Merkel deciding it would be a great idea to order all the borders to be opened without, asking any of the heads of the German states, just kind of ordering, or even any states surrounding Germany. That was truly a great decision, but I digress. That's
What are you
pretty
playing?
much
Sorry, what are you
we're
playing? What
we're at
team?
3-7,
3-7.
3-7. Germany. Okay.
if you like, yes.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a British accent or Commonwealth.
Oh, thank you very much.
Say
Yes.
where. So I don't
Yeah,
want to get us off track of the
You
conversation
have
real
to
quick.
guess.
Dino.
We'll
I
play a
say
guessing. I like
yeah.
NDP. I like Christian Lindner. Do you know, Phyllis?
Yeah.
The FD,
Christian.
I
Is
don't
in,
like them. I don't like
I
them
like
at
them.
all.
I
But
like them a lot.
good for you. For me personally, they say they are classical liberals, but really they say whatever the hell gets them votes. They're like the
Like every other party it's ever existed in the world.
Yeah.
certainly, but even more extreme. They're like, if you ask me a party that has literally no values at all, that's the one I would say. But
Give them a chance.
but back to what the
Right.
AfD is
Yeah.
like, at least from what I can get, is they are right. They are really, really weird. The main thing is that they are populist, and they are
Mhm.
incredibly populist. I'd say, and to the point where where they have their like thing, and whatever is controversial, they'll pretty much, or at least parts of them, they'll pretty much say and try
Embrace
out.
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. Other than that, they some of their ideas aren't awful. They are for more direct democracy. So they want to make, for example, the position of president one that the people can vote on,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to introduce like direct plebiscites for big issues.
Right. Which is a mistake in my opinion.
Yeah. But again, that's what again, they're very populist, so that's
Right.
something that makes sense for populists to say. They are quite nationalist, though to different degrees, and they're a kind of. But at the same time, they're not. I'm not quite sure what like their nationalism is about. They're not.
Well, and I want to just because again, a very outside observer, I would just say it to me again. Maybe I just really put my foot in my mouth. Is just anti-foreign.
Yes,
Is
yes,
how
and yes,
as
it's not
opposed
like,
to a positive particular we're for X. They're just against Y.
yeah,
You
that
know.
is my exact. Yeah, that's a very that's pretty much what I wanted to say, and that's why I don't like the party. It's they have nothing constructive. They are pretty much just X is bad,
He's down.
and this is bad, and you suck, and this sucks,
Right.
but without any real answers on what they should do, and why I don't think they will ever really get into power, or if they will probably bungle it. Because they only work as an opposition party. They don't.
Well, that's fine because
Unless they start. Yeah, but the problem is that as long as they're just an opposition party, no one will take them seriously because they are just because they're just the evil Nazis. I mean, there's currently, for example, an effort to ban the party itself altogether.
Not unsurprising.
Yeah. Now,
Because
but you see what they're doing is not the AfD, but what the German government or other political system is doing is by calling everybody a Nazi, they make nobody a Nazi. If you know what I mean.
yeah, it's the old tale of the boy who cried wolf.
Right. Crying wolf, or just coloring everything the same, and
It loses its meaning after a while.
Yeah.
It's like the villain from that old movie, The Incredibles, said, if everyone's a Nazi, no one will be.
Yeah.
and
If you don't.
Yeah, looking back at history, I can definitely see that there was, Nazis being trying to be elected back in the '60s, and literal Nazis, as in Paul Hauser and whoever else was running for in political party type things as veterans associations and et cetera, and so they were literal Nazis trying to sort of redeem themselves or whatever in post-war Germany, and so that was a real accusation against a real group. Now, like you're saying, it's just becoming, oh, you're on the right, you must be.
I mean, there actually is a Nazi party in Germany. It's called, not to be confused with the NPD, which used to be like the Nazi party, but
NSDAP. Yeah.
but the NPD is that's National Democratic Party. Originally they had a different name, but they were pretty much the original like German big like nationalist neo-Nazi party. But they mellowed out a bit, and nowadays are more like nationalistic fascists, I guess. Like neo-fascists.
Right.
But
So are they truly fascist, or are they just devout national socialists?
They're like
okay, they're pretenders.
They don't really. I don't really know much about them.
Neo-fascists.
Yeah, they're like, not some of them are, but most of them are not. And then you have the actual fascists, specifically, not even fascists, the actual Nazis. That's the party called the Third Way, der Dritte Weg.
Mm-hmm. They're
Which
getting
makes
prominence.
sense. After all, fascism, Nazism are what is called, of course, also third positionism, which is why they're called that. And they are like actual Nazis. Like they do like the straight up, marches with drums, flags, and so on. They're of course a utterly tiny, insignificant party, but they're like the only real party, with maybe some in the NPD, that are actual Nazis.
Okay, so hang on a second. Quick break from the political talk. Not to say that we can't continue, but you three know each other, strong arm.
Yeah.
Howdy, I guess I should say. I comment on your accent. Where are you from exactly? Or
New
not
Zealand.
exactly, but roughly. New Zealand?
New
Okay,
Zealand,
I wasn't
yeah,
too far off.
yeah.
He's a hobbit.
Yeah.
I should have
Yeah.
known.
That he is.
Yeah. That's what put us on the map, right?
So I've got like rough ages of everyone here. I know like Gamer's older based on his Star Trek comment. Dino's idealist, so he's probably younger. I'm younger. I don't know about you, but age don't matter.
All right. One thing I don't think I've ever actually said this, but I might have. But one of my actual political things is incredibly I guess sort of strange, at least for like within Germany, strange, and that is that I am in fact a straight up monarchist.
Yes, baby. Woo, German monarchy. I'm right there with you.
Okay, now let's. Okay. And I'm going to hijack this because Dino has brought up something, and I've talked to others similarly.
Oh shit!
Please define that better.
I was about to ask the same thing. I was going to say what monarchist family are you for?
Yeah. In what way are you a monarchist?
I guess my ideal.
No, I'm not asking your ideal. What you know?
What makes you a monarchist?
Yeah. What you know? Do you just want a single person ruler, and it can be Joe down the block, or is it a particular royal house? Is it you know, what makes you a monarchist?
That's actually a really interesting question. Mainly because it's an opinion I'm not a hardcore monarchist. It's like I don't have a particular issue with Germany being a republic. I would just prefer it to be a monarchy. Specifically like a kind of constitutional to semi-constitutional monarchy. But it's something, just looking at the way the country is and the government, that I think a kind of cultural and traditional unifying figure that can pretty much, when like the current government does stupid shit, intervene.
Okay, because
Gamer, you have to understand.
Hold
no, I'll make a quick point. Okay, go ahead.
Because you know, Airy, who's around here a lot in the Discord server, and he's active if we wanted to call him right now. He is a monarchist, but he is all over the place. So
I see why you bring this up now. Then I say,
okay, hold on. So would you be happy with a Habsburg monarchy? Would you be happy with a Hohenzollern monarchy? Would you be happy with both of those, or only one of them? Or
personally,
that's what I'm asking you.
I am most in favor of a restoration of the House of Hohenzollern, mainly because they are the legitimate German imperial family. Though
see, this is what I'm getting at here, and I know I'm interrupting.
I'm not.
Because the Habsburgs are not the legitimate German royal family; they're just the legitimate world royal family. So you know, the Habsburgs would abolish Germany and just have a universal government. So this, because I have to, when people say that they're monarchist, I'm trying to figure out why in the 21st century somebody is calling themselves that. And so if you are a German imperialist as opposed to and I know you're not from Bavaria, but I don't know up in your.
Funnily enough, if the Hohenzollerns couldn't get the throne, I would actually be in favor of the House of Wittelsbach, so the Bavarian royal family.
Yes, Wittelsbach, yes.
Mainly because they are, of course, Bavaria is the largest current German state, so just by virtue of that. And also, going a bit by legitimate is that they were Holy Roman Emperors at some point. So they
Well,
also
at some
have
point, just about
legitimacy from that.
everybody could have an ancestor that was a Holy Roman Emperor in Germany. But you know, I mean, that's a monarchy level. You know, that's sort of like everybody. Yeah, because you know, there's because and there's one thing you sort of brought up, Dino, in mentioning this as using a monarch as if the monarch was a constitution, or as an appeal to some sort of authority other than the voters' will, or you know, which we just said we're talking about the lack of trust or like in the Weimar Republic, that a monarchy could have, dealt with people's concerns there. So I have to.
Just sitting there waiting. Just sitting there waiting for it.
There's a bunch
Incredible,
up on the
amazing.
bridge up here. Oh, they got my breach. So yeah, so I just, it's interesting to hear people say.
I don't know specifically if so much monarchists are looking at the specific issues at the time. Like the 1920s and Weimar Republic is a more interesting time, I would say, of like just hardship, and after the war, the treaty changes everything for Germany. So
Yeah,
it's
but
superimpose past
yeah,
ideas on the present.
I get that, but I'm looking at today when people, because, and this is one thing that, here in America, and people don't understand some elements of, shall we say, Trumpism. Part of the element of Trumpism is putting the trust in a person, okay? As opposed to putting in a trust into a document, or putting the trust into a method, like, we'll appeal in the courts this law that we think is unconstitutional, and the courts will settle this, so trusting a system, or putting the trust into an ideology, because as Dino was talking about the AFD, they're all over the place. Well, I could see that as being, yes, you're not ideologically coherent, but maybe you're just trying to solve issues, and these are our, the current methods aren't working at solving the issues, so we're going to try these other things and see if they work, and if they don't work, we'll throw them out and we'll try something new. We're not ideologically bound, we're solutions oriented. And so when you're talking about supporting of a monarchy, one thing that, like Ari, in that his conversion to Catholicism, is he wants to see a restoration of religious government, and particularly Catholic
Like a
religious
theocracy?
Well, I don't know if to the point of a theocracy he would want, but
Yeah, he said Catholic Sharia law. He said.
Well,
The police
but
kicking down your door if you don't have fish on Friday.
And I think some of that is hyperbole too.
Yeah.
So Eric can get that way, and
maybe.
So yes, but and so pin down why people, and so I really think this is one thing that I have been studying and looking at and contemplating and thinking on, that we lose. We had been losing before, but we lose in the West to varying degrees with World War I, is trust in people in government. And we start fighting over, let me kill this, fighting over formulas, communism, capitalism, democracy, dictatorship, as being what we're fighting over, as opposed to good governance or our tribe versus your tribe. And so I think we have lost, and because individuals were incapable of dealing with the problems of World War I, meaning finding a peaceful solution instead of fighting it out to the stupid bitter end, that they lost that trust, and they look for a solution in a formula.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember that at the same time, that was the rise of ideologies at that point. That was the dominant rise due to the world's economic hardships. That was the real alternative that came to people.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is instead of because the perfect is the enemy of the good, if I have that quote right. And so this is the problem with American libertarians, is they nothing's ever good enough for them. They any political leader, well, he's only going halfway, we need total whatever. And you're never going to get perfection. And I think the desire for perfection has ruined people's viewpoint.
Political situation.
Yeah, because hey, X person is hiring his family and filling him in the White House. Well, is that corruption or isn't it? Is he hiring them because they want to give him jobs and put them on the government payroll, or is it because he trusts them and thinks they're good people?
Well, yeah, there's always the debate between meritocracy and
nepotism.
Was it?
Nepotism.
Yeah, nepotism.
Hi guys, I don't want to break it up, but are you playing?
Yeah, we're playing. Currently, we're full though, but we are
Okay.
playing.
Sadly.
Yes.
I have just revealed myself as the dirty monarchist that I am.
Well, I haven't put any sort of pejorative.
Well, I haven't showered today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Very funny, Mr. German.
But do people remember what is the name? What is my screen name?
Huh?
My screen name.
Gamer 1745.
What happened
he's referring to the year.
Yeah, what's happening in 1745?
Fuck, I suck at that century.
All right.
I'm a history major. Well, you got the 7 years.
Something over there in the colonies, right?
Nope, not the colonies.
No,
nope.
That's something in Europe.
In Britain.
It's probably
in Britain.
Probably
the last serious attempt of the Stuart monarchy to return to the throne.
Oh yeah.
So I am a Jacobite. That is a particular flavor of monarchism. Rather particular flavor of monarchism.
You fight for Bonnie Prince Charlie?
Yes, and I mean more than you might think.
Don't you have Scottish?
He
spent a lot of time in Scotland.
I spent a lot of time, and
he got radicalized in Scotland. So.
Well, no, it was more before getting to Scotland and whatnot. And I mean, I used to be strongly for Scottish independence until modern day Scottish independence is just Euroism. No longer a sovereign nation. They just want to be a province in Europe, in the EU. So I am no longer for that because that I see is even worse than being a province of the UK.
It's not so bonny.
It should be a German province.
It's not so bonny.
We're Celtic. We're not Saxon.
Yeah, don't tell us bullshit.
But you see, if our plan works of the head of the House of Wittelsbach becoming the German emperor, we could install him as the Jacobite claimant.
There are other claimants. No, that's why I do know the House of Wittelsbach, because of its Stuart connections. Yes, that is one of the legitimate claimants to Scottish throne. Not the only
What rating are you playing, guys?
3.7.
Yes.
3.7. Okay, thank you.
So,
No problem.
so and now I have, because of various things, a coherent rationale and belief in monarchy, but it is not just based on the term monarchy. It's based on a set of principles that Jacobitism,
What?
Jacobitism, yeah.
extolled. Um, and so that I'm comfortable, at least in the 18th century. I mean, they were, depending on when we were talking, whether how religious it oriented it was. But so I have that, and now that's for a culturally homogenous society like Britain. You know, I know there's different flavors in Britain, you know, between the Welsh, the English, and the Scots and all that, but still relatively culturally homogenous compared to, say, the United States is, so that this wouldn't work or be a good idea for the United States, but would be for something like Britain. So this is, so when you say,
Autocracy.
Why I think we are re-entering not necessarily the age of monarchism, but maybe, like I was going back to Trump, is that there's a lot of people, not that Trump is infallible, perfect, always right, but that they're putting their trust in him to try to make good decisions, and with the idea that, well, if something isn't working, he'll try something else. So it's not ideologically X or Y. It's like, hey, we're looking for solutions. We're looking for reform, and in our government. And so people are, whatever Trump, I'm behind him because of the available, likely presidential candidates. If we look at our governors and our senators and whoever, he is the one that makes the best sense to them. So I see that as a, if not non-ideological, less ideological pick for a, a ruler, a governor, which are two different things. One sort of commands, and the other just sort of oversees how things are done.
True. I'll just put my political stance on the whole German monarchy thing out, I guess, then. I'm an American, half German, because I'm only like a third generation. Half my family's from Germany, Bavaria.
Yeah.
So I could say the town.
I'm half German too.
Of course, half the world's half German somehow. Wonder why. But no, funny enough, even though I have no say in German politics, I'm a German monarchist because I think it's, well, just simply put, the best operating system that they have had and will have. They were monarchies, for millennium, and then they just, within the past 100 years, threw it out the window, not by their own choice, of course, but I mean, it just seems to me like it's always worked for them. It seems like what most people like and culturally accepted, and I could list,
Yeah,
5 essays worth.
that's actually something else. Is that one of the reasons I think I'm also monarchist is
Do you want to
this.
do a count? Hold, just to interrupt. Do you want to do a countdown, Fritz?
Of course.
Okay. 3,
Countdown
2, 1,
It's the
go.
final countdown.
Yeah, just to see if we can get Fritz in the same match. But yeah.
I see.
But you go ahead. Continue.
Is this? Yes, it's very naive, but kind of idea that maybe with a monarchy we can sort of find ourselves again. Look to the bright sides of the part, the good parts of the German Empire and the old German Roman Empire before then, and maybe just kind of find a kind of sense where we know again who we are, and no longer just bound to this continuous just.
Okay, here's a
complex.
and both of the Germans can chime in on this if they like. let me how to put this. There's definitely been a cultural idea of German or Germanness or whatever, but I am seeing, at least I think I'm seeing, an emergence of long enough separation for particularly Austria to be forming its own, if you
Yeah,
will,
Austria is
ethnicity.
lost to us, but
But its
that's
own
not really what I
ethnicity
meant.
is, you know, it, is it because the reason for the German Empire is defensive in nature, if you will, because all the smaller states were, not a coherent defense against either Russia or France. So it's sitting in the middle of Europe. Is there enough coherent sense of Germanness to want to find yourselves as a single unit?
I'd
No,
hope so.
no.
I mean,
But
most Austrians will say they're not German, and most Germans won't say they're Austrian. But in
Well,
reality,
yeah,
they're
well,
like
yeah,
90% the
this
same.
is well, yeah, because if you separate North and South Korea long enough, even though they may have the same root language, they become two different peoples.
True,
And
but that's an extreme case of total separation without
yeah,
contact.
right. Well, yes, but that's the good laboratory example of it because
Correct.
so it's that's what I'm sort of talking about and meaning. Um, you know, is Austria separating enough from Germany to truly be distinct, not just I don't want World War II guilt, because I think that's a lot of what it is Austria
I'll
has
let
sort of
Dino or Dino.
it,
yes,
has
It's just
has
I'll let him talk about this
yeah
one first.
yeah
it's
about what
it's
now?
divide and conquer anyway. The Big
About
Brother would
Austria?
well no
never let
no no
us speak together
is
again.
you said find yourself, is there a consensus enough on what Germany is?
Where? In
At
Germany?
this
In
point,
Germany, for the Germans.
No, no. Right now, everything German is bad.
again, the problem is that there was a consensus of what it meant to be German in the past, but that has been partially lost as well as invalidated due to the result of the Second World War. As
Yeah, it was kicked out of us.
previously it was largely, I mean, there was a time, for example, when even like in like the early 19th century and even partially before, when, for example, the Czechs were kind of considered Germans too.
Right.
But I'm not talking about like the land belongs to Germans, but like the Czech people, despite like being
No,
Slavic and so on, were
no, I
kind of
understand that they were seen. I don't know if they saw themselves, but people definitely saw them as like a flavor of Germanness.
exactly, and pretty much you had the origins of like when like a German real like kind of like patriotism and so on began to really exist, which was in the late Middle Ages, early Renaissance, which is also the time when you have the Holy Roman Empire being renamed into the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation, and you had a kind of beginning of a patriotism that was at that point partially attached to not just the German lands, so the German lands of the empire, fighting against encroachment from like the French and like the Poles and the Ottoman and later the Ottomans, and a union of the people speaking the same language and protecting each other, which is like the main thing that in the past made the Germans, which is this mixture of both this kind of brothers in arms against foreign threats. As quite a few people would argue that the quote unquote rebirth of the idea of Germany would be the Battle of Lechfeld, where the German dukes and princes decisively defeated the Hungarian invaders. This. And that's like where you first start to see a kind of coherent idea of not just a kingdom that used to be part of a greater kingdom, but a actual like separate identity of its own, besides like the different tribes that make up the kingdom. And then you have in the late Middle Ages, you have this kind of beginning of patriotism, this loyalty to the emperor, who emperor. I mean, for example, during the abdication speech of the last Holy Roman Emperor, he never actually says in his speech, Holy Roman Empire. He calls it the German Empire, the German Reich. And so after that, we have, well, the like German romantic nationalism of the 19th century, which largely is based on language, or like the main like patriotic song of the time, which was even the kind of anthem of the failed 1848 empire, which was "What is the German's Fatherland?" A song that asks what the German fatherland is and finally concludes that it is wherever the German language is spoken. And that was at that point the primary unifier. It's why the Brothers Grimm, besides their fairy tales, are such an important part of the history of the German nations, because they, more than really anyone at that time, helped further unify the language, as such, further unify the nation. It's why the whole Lesser German solution without Austria was so controversial, because in the minds of many Germans, it excluded a sizable part of Germans. So it was of Germans, which at that point was just viewed as, well, they have their own separate empire, separate of us, but they are still Germans. Which is why after World War I, once that empire has collapsed, they immediately tried to join the lesser German state, calling themselves Republic of German Austria.
Right. And the Allies said no, 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 no.
Yes, they even forced them to change the name.
Yeah, I mean, it was specifically an external push there.
Yes. And then you have pretty much this whole idea of unifying the German people being then prevented after the
Hello, Kroby.
First World War, and as well as, of course, the destruction of the German monarchy, which also had been like one of the big things about Germany, is that Germany had pretty much whenever it existed as a state, had always had an emperor, or at least a king. And without that, there began this. That's where the like problems really kind of started. Really, what are we? We are not just all the Germans. We are just some of the Germans. We no longer have the old system. We no longer have the emperor of the Germans. We no longer have that, you could say, kind of like Germanic tribal mixed with the Roman imperial tradition that the previous German realms had.
Right.
Now we are like an unstable republic. Who exactly are we? And then the Nazis came along and went for the whole thing. Well, we are, yes, the language is there and important, but like we are specifically a separate race from everyone else, and went very hard into this idea of German exceptionalism, which was there previously, but they leaned into it to a, of course, ludicrous degree.
Yes.
And then in their attempts to combine also the idea of Germany with the idea of Germania, where they pretty much, if you look, for example, at maps from like the time of Julius Caesar, and where like the Germanic tribes are estimated to have lived,
Right.
that sort of lines up with the Greater German Reich that the Nazis tried to build. It's why they have named places like Gdynia in Poland into Gotenhafen, or Goth's port, because that's like where like 2,000 years ago, the like tribes that later on would become the Goths were thought to have lived. So they marry the idea of Germany with the idea of the Germanic tribes into this kind
And
of
yeah. I think we're getting a bit into the weeds of the details, but there's definitely, I would say, you're talking overdoing, and we're trying to be careful with our language here, overdoing German exceptionalism, and also talking a bit more about land than people in cases
yes.
that we see, because we can see that what was once France and is currently France, those borders have changed considerably. Fritz, are you all ready for a countdown?
Yeah, they had this idea of
Fritz? Okay, not hearing
Fritz?
Fritz.
No,
We're
he's
not here.
speaking. It's just it's
We're not
bits.
hearing you, Fritz, for some reason. I don't know why. Don't know why.
Get close to the mic.
I'm not sure if that's the reason. Doesn't seem muted from this side, so
Maybe the BND is currently raiding his house.
could be. No, could be.
Maybe he
Ty, open up.
made a silly tweet about the economics minister, and now the German SWAT teams are chasing him down.
Stazi's here. Open up.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, not a joke.
No, I know this.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're not accepting who had the Cobra. No, sorry. We have a full squad currently, so let's go with this, I guess.
But yeah, back to what you said about land. Is that the Nazis had this idea of German cultural space, which is pretty much that land
Sorry, I
that
was AFK,
is
my
that
volume
at
was
one
going.
point in time used to be part of some sort of German country, I suppose, or even just like a German like cultural sphere, I guess you could say, was inherently German and needed to be either be conquered, reconquered, settled, resettled, and whatever. Like they had these like nice detailed charts about what is like considered part of like German like cultural space, which is like why they literally like the entirety of like for example of like Burgundy was considered a German cultural space and needed to be reconquered.
Right.
You had Switzerland, you had northern Italy because the Lombards used to have a kingdom there.
Right. And and it's it and we're not going to go very deep in this because I mean, it's probably going to be demonetized anyways, but I don't want to be shut down. Let me try to because again I've worked in this field. Try to say this. I don't see anything wrong with talking about the positive talking positively about ethnic groups. We did not just invent something. I mean, sure, you can brag that you invented the typewriter or the potato or whatever, but
Yes, we built the first potato.
yeah, but we can go, but we do X really well, and our family life is great because X, Y, and Z. I don't find that at all objectionable. That and I just lost my breach. Hello.
Though many people would. That's the problem.
Yes, especially if certain ethnic groups, if they were to extol that, where we see, including with the Germans during the middle of the 20th century with Mr. Mustache, going at highly negative tropes. That they may have, within a certain sense, a kernel of truth there, but like I'm saying, going to highly negative, and in my opinion, very unreasonably so, in negative. That is where we're looking at a bad situation, because it breeds the idea of, well, they're just the whatevers. They're just, well, you say it, the Italians, and we want to take back former Lombardy. What does it matter? Because it was once, German or something like that. And so this is where, and I'm very much listening to what everybody's saying, but particularly right now, Dino, when he's talking about Germany. Find yourselves, if you will, figuring out what Germans are. That if it stays very much a positive thing, as opposed to, like we were talking about the AFD, is what is their nationalism? Just anti-foreignism, not trying to extol, we drink beer and schnapps here, and they're both great, or something, and so instead of a positive nationalism, it is looking at it as sort of as a negative nationalism.
What you said, like a kind of foreign xenophobic nationalism.
And there is reason for the xenophobic, because when, at least from my perspective, when the European project is being proposed and being implemented, when it's like, oh, hey, other Europeans are showing up. Yeah, they're a bit different. They do things a bit different, but we're all sort of somewhat the same. And then you go from that to what you mentioned, Merkel throwing open the borders. People completely different, pouring into your country, that then now anything foreign, not just foreigners from the other valley, or foreigners from another continent, but foreigners from the other valley become the foreigners, and so everything must, is panicked and must go.
And actually, what you said is that that the current German, I guess, anti-nationalist guilt pride.
Okay, that's an interesting way of putting it, but I'm seeing what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, where we pretty much largely kind of weirdly just almost like proudly identify with this, like, look, we are guilty, look how bad we are, how incredibly guilty we are, how much we hate being German.
Right.
Yes,
German, how much not proud we are.
Right.
To the point where it's at times almost feels like insulting, and how it also, however, makes actually integrating foreigners, like foreigners who actually come here and genuinely just want to be part of Germany, whether they come from like Nigeria or Poland,
right,
makes it incredibly difficult, because why would they actually want to become part of Germany when we have nothing to offer them except, like, look, now you too can feel super guilty for something that your ancestors had even less to do with than ours.
Right.
Like, yeah, your ancestors were like British colonial subject. They had nothing to do with like the Nazi crimes at all. But now you're German, so you must feel guilty about it.
Now here's an interesting national trend that I don't know if you may be aware, but Ireland has chosen to decide to take on all of the supposed guilt of the British for the British Empire, even though they very much were a conquered people of that empire. So,
all right. Do they also take on like guilt for things like, say, like bad things the British did during like World War II, when they weren't even a part of the empire anymore?
I'm sure they would if they knew about them.
Because in that case, it would be fucking hilarious. I'm sorry for like my language. If like Namibia decided, because like Kenya decided, because they used to be German colonies, that they now need to like repent for the Holocaust.
Right. Well, I mean that's somewhat that Ireland's doing, and sure, individuals, many of them, did participate in the British Empire, because that was one of the paths to success, shall we say, not just survival, but thriving.
Obviously,
there was, of course, the path of leaving Ireland and joining the Catholic world, often France, in opposition, but they've taken on this sort of national anti-European, anti-British guilt syndrome Now, it's
Yeah.
nowhere near as bad as what Germany is doing, with its national guilt, but it is there.
And that's pretty much what I meant. Like, you can't exactly expect to like integrate people into your nation and culture and make them feel, a sense of belonging when they actively view you as self-destructive morons. Like, in that case, yeah, of course, yeah, like we'll get all the benefits, but I'm surely not as hell not gonna identify as German if that's what being German means. I'd much rather stay Turkish, because then I can at least stay, proud of our long history and so on.
Right. I'm just.
But and it also, and
yeah.
even more so than that, there's like this weird idea, like, of course, in Germany, when you show like a nationalism, not even like necessarily like intense nationalism, but just a bit of nationalism,
Round.
you get like this. You're like, you must be like a closeted Nazi, which of course always causes me to then like, but what if you have like a Jewish person who's like very like devout and also proud to be Jewish, but is also like a hardcore German nationalist? Is he a Nazi then too?
Well, you guys are aware, I don't know if you are, but Trump held a rally in Madison Square Gardens, and they tried to equate that, with the American Bund holding a similar rally that was obviously a Nazi rally. But, Trump is very pro-Israel, and there were lots and lots of Israeli flags being flown at that rally, and they were trying to call it a Nazi rally. So it's now the Jews are now Nazis. So
yes,
and the
that
Jews because of their quote unquote, I don't think it's a genocide at all, but a quote unquote genocide in Gaza, that now the Jews really are Nazis.
Yes, which is of course bloody hilarious. As first of all, if anything that would then be the fault of like the Israeli government and military, not of the bloody Jews living in the United States.
Yeah, right now,
like what are they doing? There are drones flying those drones over the Atlantic.
Yeah, but even the Jews in America live by the race laws of Israel, right?
Well, okay. There's all kinds of Jews. Okay, there's all. Yeah. I mean, there are self-hating Jews. There are very Orthodox Jews of various flavors, and then there's people that you would hardly ever think of Jews, like William Shatner. Captain Kirk of Star Trek. He's Jewish. Now, he's also Canadian too, but.
Okay, no, they're not Canadian Jews. They are just Jews living in Canada.
Yeah, Canada. But Canada, yeah. So, do you want to do a countdown, Fritz, or not? I don't know.
No, I'm playing something else.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are insanely insanely like religious Orthodox Jews who are also very anti-Zionist.
Yes, and some of those are living here in America because they there's some sort of religious element to their anti-Zionism, and I knew it at one time, but I can't articulate it now. So yes, and I'm particularly a very, very pro-Zionist person, and again, describing my ideology, I am pro-Western, and the more Western you are, the more pro, and that's not necessarily geographically Western in a modern sense. I am more pro that. So the Celts are sort of way out on the west of Europe, so I'm more pro them than I'm pro Greeks, which are on the very eastern side of.
Well, everyone should be pro themselves, right?
Well, but meaning, generally speaking, historically, culturally, I'm cheering for the more Western element. So if it's the British fighting the Germans, I'm yay for the British. Let's defeat those Germans. If it's Germans fighting the Eastern barbarians, well, I'm yay for the Germans. And it's so if we're looking at, hey, it gets a little muddy here, but Romans versus the Greeks, I'm more yay Romans. If it's the Greeks versus the Persians, I'm yay the Greeks.
But wouldn't like be Japan further west? Like, isn't Japan technically to the west of the United States?
No.
Is there part of considered in the Western world?
I am sitting on the edge of the Western world. I can't go any more west. To me, the Pacific coast is the edge of the Western world.
So if you like sail off the Pacific coast, that's where the monsters are.
That's where the east is. That's where the east is.
Ah, so
he's looking at the.
Obviously, we have Australia and New Zealand that yes, I know, and obviously we geographically have Australia and New Zealand that are there, but culturally they are British. You know, I mean, sure they, you know, New Zealand has adopted a little bit of Maori culture and whatnot, but
I'm 22 behind you, Dino.
And so,
all right,
you
I'm
know,
22 behind you.
Obviously, nothing is that, and so to me the Jews are more Western than their Arab and Persian neighbors. So that's one of the reasons I'm pro-Zionist, because they are more Western than their Eastern. Even though some of them obviously are more geographically, like Egyptians are more geographically Western than Jews, but culturally I see it as they are more Eastern. So
then the question is, what has led you to this belief?
I'm pro-Western civilization. I'm pro-Western civilization. Western
okay,
civilization.
So you're just pro-Western. Okay, it's not like ethnically, economically, politically. It's just
it's a civilization. Yes, and
so it's just good old-fashioned cultural chauvinism.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But also and I am also something of a cultural Darwinist. However good or bad your culture is, if it doesn't succeed, there's something wrong with it. Now, maybe some of the good elements are not why it failed. You know, it may have great food, but the food may not be the reason that the culture failed. If you know
judge
what I mean.
the good food cultures are always shitty cultures. That's how you judge it.
Right.
Generally,
yes.
if it's got good food, then it's a crappy culture.
Well, yeah, and that can be true. And so
British food is shit.
Yes, but it's
German food's average.
British breakfast is nice.
Yes, I like. Oh no, I love the British breakfast. Fish and chips are okay. It's sort of the British fast food, but if that's the extent of your cuisine, well, you know.
Germany's like boiled cabbage and sausages.
I'm not terribly favor of much of German cuisine.
I'm German, remember, so I'm allowed to.
I know. But so and it's just a way of life, which can cover many aspects of things that and so I think Western civilization, partially, yes, I'm very much a product of Western civilization, so it can be just like Dino was saying, chauvinism, pro me, but I also can look at it and go, damn, we've done really good the last 200-300 years of successes, and that must mean we're doing well, because somebody go, oh, the Hawaiian culture is beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they were a bunch of primitives living on islands when Cook showed up. That isn't going to be successful, because you're at the mercy of the rest of the world. So it's
someone had to conquer. You're just lucky that it was the British that conquered you, because someone had to do it. Someone was going to conquer. Same with the Maoris. You're just lucky.
Hawaiians were technically conquered by the Americans.
Yeah, that's yes, we conquered them, but it is a and they were somewhat in the British sphere of influence.
They were in the British sphere. I mean, they were even partially westernized by that point. It's just that they had the bad luck of a bunch of
And there was
American businessmen who
they had the good luck because you know, just think they're part of us and not part of a failed British Empire.
Okay, what? Someone's catching strays here.
Right. So you know, Britain lost 2 empires, guys. First, the American Empire when we got our independence, and then they did not learn the lesson of Rome, in that when your empire expands enough, you must give certain amount of representation with that expanded empire. Had Britain early on, you know, in the 19th century, established a federal empire in which places like Australia would have a few seats in parliament, not necessarily one man, one vote, so that they are, you know, dominated by, you know, foreigners, or even if they're colonialists, dominated by people from outside of, you know, the homelands. They should have given direct, you know, representation into the British Parliament, or call it, you know, a Grand Parliament or something like that. Then they still would have a federal situation with, you know, Canada, Australia, New Zealand would be part of a modern day Britain, and Britain would be a hell of a lot stronger than it currently is. But they lost.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. And so,
how does the Kiwi feel about this? Not to cut you off, sorry, Gabe.
No, what do you mean? What's the question?
Do you think New Zealand would be part of a closer British Empire had in the 19th century and early 20th century they had given votes to New Zealand in the British Parliament? You know, you would be voting for a few parliamentary members. You know, a federal system like we have in America.
Maybe I haven't really thought about that. Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
And I think that there would have been combination of looking at the 20th century, in which, particularly during World War II, the and still looking at it today, that Australia and New Zealand cannot defend themselves. So there would be a combination of.
And that's most countries in the world too, though, isn't it? It's not. You know...
Oh well, yeah. No, I'm not trying to single out either one of the countries.
Russia is having problems.
Right.
It's a superpower, and it's having problems, logistical problems, invading its minor neighbor. You know.
This is not meant to single out these countries. It's just the reality.
That is a Russian tradition, though.
Yeah, but it's the reality that neither of the countries have a large enough population, have a big enough industry to protect themselves.
Except Finland.
Well, I mean, Finland can't protect itself. I mean, period. It can't. No. It's only being protected.
Itself. What it can do is sell itself very, very expensively.
Yeah, but it's
if you invade, that's really got to hurt. And
the only reason Finland is not reabsorbed into Russia at the end of World War II is because of the great power balances in the West were pushing for Finnish independence, and Stalin knew that it was going to be serious trouble if he just went in there blatantly and conquered Finland, because Finland had changed sides and whatnot. And we could, you know, look at the details of all of that. But it is that. It is, if it was just in a vacuum, if nobody else cared, Stalin would absorb Finland. So, and the only reason it doesn't absorb Finland during the Winter War is because Stalin has greater concerns over Germany. Oh shit, if we get bogged down in Finland, what's going to happen?
I think that's what he meant, though. I think that's what he meant. Finland is not able to defeat Russia, but Finland can make the prospect of fully conquering and subjugating it such an annoyance that it's not really worth it.
Yes, and that can be true of Australia and New Zealand as part of a greater defense strategy. Meaning,
we fight together. We fight together as Anzacs.
Right. Well, Anzacs, but also formerly with the British Empire, and now with the pseudo-American Empire. That but even like during World War II, Japan could easily have conquered Australia, except there was all the other problems. Fighting the British over in India, fighting the Americans if it was just Australia, Japan can do that easy. But because it would have been hard, it would have
tough cookies,
Yeah, it would have been hard enough that if they could have defended themselves well enough with the support of others. Meaning, so they're looking for greater support.
Yes, but the thing is that Japan knew that if they invade Australia, then the emus will seize their chance to retake power over the continent. And then they would have to fight the emus, and the Japanese knew that would be a fight they could not hope to win.
Ooh. Yes. So
bloody emus.
So my point is that there is a with the external threats, and had they had more buy-in, both in actual power as well as sort of culturally perceived power, as well as internal force threats, meaning, raw British power, I think that there would have been enough, reasons for places like Australia, like New Zealand, like Canada, to remain clearly as part of a defined British empire to this day. But with Britain's exclusionary, because they didn't learn, exclusionary attitude to anybody outside of the islands, even if you were 5 minutes ago you were in the island, but once you left the island to be a person working, whether it is in India or where in Canada or wherever, well, you're no longer voting in our system. You no longer get a say. If you want to move back home, you get a say, sure, but because you're subject of the crown. But so once you leave, and so that drives, they didn't learn that lesson of including even those culturally similar, if not the same.
Yeah, it's a good point. I get you. Yeah,
but it also needs to be in a way a bit federalist, in that they need to be locally self-governing. Where to build a bridge, what's the local tax rate do we need to support local situations, and what does London need to tell us what to do locally, but on a grand scale, an input, meaning members of parliament, into the greater empire, greater defense network, whatever you want to call it, input from the regions, as well as protection from outside threats, and also, which we see Britain often doing, protectionism for industries. So protecting what would be British, agriculture instead of importing, agriculture from America.
Like the EU right now with the EVs.
Right. Yes. And but desperate stuff. And so yes,
too little, too late.
And
TeamG German power industry.
Yes, and so I see Britain as losing two empires, and in the second one because they didn't learn the lessons of why they lost the first one. The Americas, that was the first empire that they lose. And so I think that's an important take on things.
Damn it. Okay.
I'm somewhat curious now, not to get off topic. Strong arm. With you being in, Kiwi and whatnot, you seemed a bit more reserved in this conversation. What do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm self-employed in construction.
Ah, okay. I was just curious. You seem to be just like a lot of listening, not one way or another decided.
Oh, I just have to get a word in sometimes. I mean, I just listen to gamers.
Yeah.
It always. He's used to me dominating
to it.
dominating the topic. But he also knows
But
that
I
I do listen to you.
I throw in the
Stronger.
odd gem now and again. The odd
Yes,
gem. You hear the odd gem out of me, you know.
Yeah.
He is the supreme commander. I mean,
Yeah.
Here on the Discord, but yeah, no, and I do very much want to hear other people's voices, especially voices who disagree with me, because I want to, and I don't just want to hear the disagreements. I want to hear why they disagree with, or why they agree with me, because I learned from that, and that's sort of what I've learned a bit from Dino is why he is a modern monarchist, and I mean it makes sense, but I want to know, is it sort of Aries, just sort of emotional Catholic and rejection of current sort of democracy because of perceived failures of our government, and so the other thing, whatever the other thing, it must be good because it's not what we have. Where Dino is more thoughtful on his reasons as to why he has the viewpoint that he does.
Yeah, my analysis of Dino, this is just a guess off my part, what I've heard of one. Of course, it can be wrong to say, is that his is mainly based on the idea of the old German nostalgia for a more just and unified government and Germanic people, based around the Kaiser and, well, at least the king in general, and monarchies, and its unifying power over the German people. And simply put, that the modern governments and the fact that democracy is so new in Germany has done a very poor job compared to the.
I want to object to that.
Okay. This is just my analysis of him.
Yeah, I want to object to your viewpoint.
Objection overruled.
That maybe democracy was new for the Weimar Republic, but for Europe, German democracy isn't very new compared to Italy, compared to the Netherlands, compared to Sweden, compared to Spain, compared to Austria, compared to Hungary, compared to Poland.
Wow.
They were. I mean, it was really only France. And if you want to go Britain, I don't know whether you want to call that a monarchy or
I would. It's a
democracy.
Limited constitutional.
But it also depends on when we're talking about dates wise. But it's really only France that has a. Well, okay, we can also look at Switzerland too, since Lum isn't here. I can speak up for him and democracy there. That German democracy isn't. Because they had democracy under Bismarck forming the German Empire. There was,
in fact, the German
democratic
Empire
institution,
was arguably more democratic than the United Kingdom at the time.
Yes,
you have to understand though is that
at the time, and so I think this sort of myth that democracy or democratic representation is somehow particularly new in Germany is wrong. That it's somehow particular to that. That's what I was objecting to.
Slight misinterpretation of my words. I'm not saying that it was particularly new to Germany. I was talking about more new as in the history of the entirety of Europe. While yes, Germany did have democracy, you could say as back as 1848 and whatnot. It is a very limited, not the modern general mass democracy. It is very parliamentarized. Heavy representation for landed elite.
Right, but
actually, when we go with the German Empire was actually that it was Prussia had the whole overrepresentation of the landed elite, but the German Empire had from its very beginning universal male suffrage.
No, I'm not discrediting that. I'm going to say Germany is advanced in many more nations, but it's just the actual government institution of practicing mass, full-scale democracy is not until the Weimar Republic.
Well, from a perspective.
From a perspective, I'm saying like the modern full government and its new state.
See, what makes the U.S. Constitution so important beyond its structure? I mean, the structure is important, but beyond that is the mass consensus that it's important within the U.S. system. Even most of those who don't like it or want to dramatically change it, not just like change a slight meaning somewhere, but change it, can't admit that they are, publicly, that they're somehow against the Constitution here because it is held as such a sacred document. Where we don't see in Germany, and I would even go to today, that there is not a holding sacred the idea of a constitution in Germany.
Where they don't even really have a proper constitution.
Right. Well, and where they often look, and I think a lot of the monarchies in Europe are still there as sort of a living constitution that are sort of going, hey, if you guys, you can work it out, in Parliament, blah, 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 do your thing, but I'm King so-and-so or Queen so-and-so or whatever, sitting over here, if there's a national emergency, sort of, in case of national emergency, break glass, and I'll come out, and I'll form a royal government, which may have a lot of the current politicians, sort of like Winston Churchill's. And Winston Churchill would be a good example of the wartime government in that it wasn't a democratically elected government. It was basically rule by the king through Churchill setting up the wartime government. Yeah, so it's obviously Churchill's, government, but it's through the power of the monarchy, not through the power of the democratic voices of Britain. So all the different monarchs, I think, around Europe are just waiting, waiting for it because it's our time's coming and we'll get back in power, or just simply, hey, we're here in case of a national emergency, whatever that may be. We'll come out. We'll have not pissed off any group by having hardly any public opinions on any of the various things, even though privately they probably either think things are good or things suck or whatever, but they just don't mention it, and are waiting to come out and do that. At least that's my perception of the situation with the monarchies currently in Europe. And this is one thing that Germany lacks, is that they don't have this sort of...
someone to fall back on.
They do have a president, but they don't.
It's a joke.
We have a joke.
He's a joke.
I know, but it's in theory he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a unifying figure. He's supposed.
We will never ever again let Germany off the leash. We will never be. I mean, as long as the American Empire exists, there will never be a free Germany. There will never be a sovereign Germany. They will never allow that.
What do you mean?
What do you
in
mean?
Like what sense? I'm saying explain your argument in more detail. I'm not saying like you're wrong or right. Just
okay, I'll explain it.
Right.
He perceives it, and I'm not saying he's wrong. Fritz is wrong or right, but he perceives it as an American boot on the German neck currently.
Politically, economically, socially,
yes.
All of it.
The American boot. The American boot is on Germany's neck as he perceives it.
It's the reality. It's the reality.
Again, one of Gamer's politics is perception. So if enough people perceive this, it becomes reality.
Oh, come on.
Gamer. If your president stands next to our president and talks about the destruction of Nord Stream, and our president is just.
I know. I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing against your perception. I'm just giving. What I'm trying to say is that Fritz, most Americans don't think that's the case. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
And
most Americans watch their TV shows, and it's all bullshit.
Fritz, I don't know how many Germans actually have that perception. I know you do, and I'm not saying you're wrong, Fritz. I'm just saying that's your perception. I don't know if that's widely held perception of the German people.
Not yet, no.
Yes.
Nord Stream helped a lot with that.
Right, and so, but we told you not to do Nord Stream because we have our boot on your neck, and
Yeah.
you did Nord Stream. We told you, and
Yeah, but
whoever blew it up, in actuality, I'm not sure, but I'm sure we know. That's the biggest reason I'm sure we know is we're no longer looking to find out who did it.
Well, the Americans told them not to be so reliant on Russian energy and to spend more on defense as well.
Well, that's
Right.
bullshit. That's bullshit. The worst thing that can happen to America is if Russia and Germany are friends. That's the worst thing that can happen to America. That's why the NATO exists.
I mean, that's actually a kind of funny thing. Is that like a common thing I have read in like a lot of like Russian ultranationals? Is that they almost always want to make like an alliance with Germany.
Yeah, because it's a neighbor.
But is Russia really your friend? Really? You know?
Well, it's more. I mean, right now it looks like more of a friend than the US.
If they give back Königsberg, then we can talk.
Hell yeah, I'd give you that. But it's never going to happen. Is the problem?
See, and that's the thing.
It's like having a total retard as
the
a friend.
toilet.
Like
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Good luck.
And so, it's because, we can, because, and I know a lot of you guys know a lot of history, but it's going back to the Great Game. And the Great Game is the competition between Britain and Russia, particularly over India, but also geopolitically everywhere else. That America is very much just inherited the attitudes and the responsibilities of the British Empire.
Fair argument.
And I don't know if you watched how there had been a perception that, I don't know if it was real or not, but that the royal family could barely stand Trump. But whether that was true or not, I don't know. And of course, the royal family, it was not going to say one way or the other, or will not say in a negative sense. They would not have said, "Oh, we can't stand Trump."
The royal family are woke dickheads right now.
But
the only good ones are being nostrils.
But Prince William, I think he was lighting up, his face lighting up genuinely when he was meeting Trump, both at the Notre Dame Cathedral, as well as whether it was before or after at the British Embassy when he invites them and he invites Trump. He didn't have to invite Trump to the British Embassy there, and he didn't have to, be personally welcoming there. I don't know what his father thinks of the situation.
Gushing.
But they seem to, be very positive on Trump now.
They're all climate hysteria.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
his father are all.
But
the chicken licking, the sky's falling in, and
right,
and Trump is, we're gonna drill, baby, drill.
Right, but
so they're very on polar opposites there.
Well, I'm not saying they're not, but how much of it is?
I'm the same.
How much is it that they are just part of the American empire or the American imperial system? How much is it that they either personally like Trump or relieved that Biden is gone?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can be all
you could Camilla. Yeah.
You could be all yay for the environment, but go, my God, Biden is screwing everything up. I go,
Camilla,
and sometimes you can disagree with people.
Camilla.
You can disagree with people, but personally like them. And Trump can be very likable if he wishes to be. He can be very likable. And so how much is so the U.S. I mean, down to one of our fundamental, and the most Americans individually don't think of this, but one of our fundamental precepts is freedom of navigation of the seas. We both give it and expect it everywhere, that ships can just go wherever they want to out at sea. and that is a core strategic, principle that we're willing to fight for, and that we've inherited from Britain. And so there's so much of our positions that are British. And
it's lucky that you're you got to learn all that stuff,
and the other
so
major perception that we have from the British is divide and rule, divide and conquer, whatever, of Europe. Britain had for hundreds of years played the, oh shit, one faction's getting too strong, we're going to join the other faction as a counterbalance for, in European politics, so that there is not a central, strong European power of some sort. Whether that was France or Germany. Because look, how many hundreds of years were Britain and France at war? And I know Fritz is saying, oh, well, they're our neighbors, they should be our friends. No. Who are the people... Okay, good. Who are the people in Britain, if you were to query the average Briton, they would most want to go to war with? Probably the French. They would just love to go to war with the French again. It would be fun.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
And, and emotionally, I think it's still there. War with the French. Yeah. Not that they're actually.
You're allowed to be racist to French people in Britain. I think it's one of the few countries you're allowed.
Right, and so, but the rise of the German Empire pushes Britain into, a 20th century alliance with France. And, so by creating that German Empire, you create Britain as an enemy, where previously Prussia had often been allied with Britain.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of Britain is that there cannot be one great power on the continent.
Yes. And the U.S. has adopted that position, for better or for worse.
Yeah, which is why, of course, after World War I, when it seems like now the French might be resurgent, Britain starts supporting Germany again.
Mm-hmm. Briefly, until Hitler comes as
Yes.
And so, yes.
A decent chunk of France actually belongs to Britain too, you've got to remember. So,
I mean, all of France rightfully belongs to Britain. They are the rightful kings of France, obviously.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Going back to my Jacobite, James the Third, when he, has his son, or when his father dies and he becomes the rightful heir in France, he is proclaimed by the French royal heralds as the King of France, along with England, Scotland, and Ireland and France. Even the Bourbon monarchy proclaims him King of France, because they use his full royal titles, and it's by the actual royal heralds. So yes, everybody knows that the British monarchy rightfully rules France, as well as
I can pinpoint the exact moment that Britain starts to decline. It's when they remove the fleur-de-lis from their coat of arms.
Yeah, yeah. Now the other British project, that was sort of a German project as well, was to try to get all of the monarchs, all the significant monarchs in Europe, to be related to the British monarchy. And that's why we have, Nicky, Willie, and George, all cousins, fairly close cousins, not just some existential, oh yeah, we're fifth cousins twice removed or something, in the sort of monarchy.
It looks very similar. If you like, there's photos of them.
They're all grandchildren of Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
Yes, and ours was her favorite, by the way.
Very well could be.
Well, the Germans.
And so and that
your husband was German. Yeah, so.
That was
I mean, she was half German.
Yes. Well, yeah. Victoria is from the House of Hanover, and she's, and then Albert is, what is it, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. So yeah, it's two German princely houses, or yeah.
Ooh,
Hanover a
yeah. What's
princely
better
or
than
king of Hanover?
What's
King
better
of.
than one German princely house? Two.
So yes, and that's sort of why I'm a Jacobite in that I'm looking for a British monarch, not a um, German monarch for Britain.
Britain.
Yes. But yeah, and so that was a political project to try to get the families closely aligned, but that falls apart over Austria.
Yeah, I mean, this is also combined with the fact that really at that point the actual monarchs didn't really have that much influence over the different things. Otherwise, for example, it's quite likely that if Wilhelm and Nicholas actually had been absolute monarchs, it's quite possible that, for example, that Germany and Russia would never have gone to war in the first place.
Okay. Here's a. There has never been an absolute monarchy. I know we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
Because everybody was a slave to the Tsar in Russia, including the nobles. But they hold power positions. You know, they have lots of influence. Obviously, now of course there's still a lot. There's still actual serfdom.
When we say absolute,
and so
when we say absolute monarchy, though, we mean institutional.
Yeah, but there still is
actual power balance.
Yeah, but there still is. You know, I would say that the Kaiser, had he really wished to use his influence, could have changed Germany's position in World War I and not acceded to the institutions that he did.
He would have likely been sidelined by the military, as that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well,
probably.
I don't know the answer, obviously, but you know, if at the right moment, at the right time, if he had just said no, we're not doing this.
Well, he did. He did it. You have to understand that when the war is about to kick off, and the mobilization was happening.
He asks.
Yeah.
He asks.
Essentially,
no,
yes.
I'm saying emphatically. If it was emphatic, and if he had and he had the ability to. Now maybe it wasn't well set up, but he had the ability to talk to Nikki privately if he wanted to, meaning sending letters or whatever privately, and he could have said, you know, Nikki, we're not going to go to this war over Serbia. We're not going to do this thing. We're going to settle this thing in the East, whatever, you know, and you don't want to bring your empire down. I'm not bringing my empire down. You've got
pretty much what happened.
Well, he tries, but to me it's half-hearted. Okay.
Well,
to me it's half-hearted. It's not an emphatic.
You have to remember, he had no reason to be emphatic, though.
Well, I think, you know, and he's also the reason there's a problem in that he is trying to build an empire to rival Britain, and Britain is, you know, our navy, I should say, or navy to rival Britain, and that's like the one super taboo thing you can't do. Britain has to have a navy that it feels that it can defeat any two other powers that may want to gang up against it, because obviously you need a navy at the time to invade Britain, and without a navy you can't invade Britain.
You know, fall back.
Yeah, kill this guy here. So Nikki has already been behaving in such a way that alienates Britain. But yeah, no, at least again, my perception, and I'm more of a World War II historian than a one, and I do know about the Nikki and Willie telegrams, at least in general concept, and I do realize he asked, can we go east as opposed to going west to deal with the Russians? He could have just said
the war has already been declared, though.
Okay, yeah, and you probably, Dino, know it in detail more than I do, the leading up to World War I. But I guess my perception is if he had just said hell no.
Well, the main thing is previously Wilhelm had actually succeeded in talking Nicholas down down. The main issue was mobilization, because if Russia mobilizes, Germany pretty much needs to mobilize and go to war. Otherwise, Germany is doomed.
Right.
And Wilhelm is able, through the telegrams, to successfully convince Nicholas to call off mobilization, which he then tells his staff. But the staff is able to pretty much guilt trip Nicholas, Nicholas, and threaten him into not calling off mobilization.
Same thing with Wilhelm.
That is
He tries to
combined with
stop.
also.
There's a plane up. Can you guys see that plane?
I'm currently heading to the airport. There's also the fact that, for example, he proposes that he sends the Stop in Belgrade plan to Austria, which is pretty much a idea to keep the war localized to just Serbia, by pretty much saying the Austrians will only conquer Belgrade and move no further, meaning showing pretty much to the Russians that they do not intend to conquer Serbia, but only to enforce their previously made demands. This plan is lost somewhere, likely through deliberate sabotage in the Austrian offices.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. I and I definitely understand that there was institutional desires, particularly in Germany, for a war. They thought they were going to do well out of the war. So,
yeah, that's another thing actually, is that Wilhelm was deliberately kept out of most of the talks by his government and the military due to, I quote, his pacifist tendencies.
Right. And so yes, I very much so, and I will also say that there is failure doesn't happen, at least mostly, in the moment. Failure is allowing institutions like what we're seeing here in America. We today, and I'm drawing it as an analogy, but I think it's correct. We have gotten a system in which bureaucracies make regulations that they get to enforce, but they have, and a regulation is not a law, but it's something they get to enforce, and courts have just allowed them to implement these regulations, and these have never been approved by the legislature or any other elected official. So I recently described America as a bureaucratic republic instead of a representative republic. And if you allow the institutions to gain such power in times not of crisis, when the crisis happens, you're already failing. You're failing beforehand. And that's what I'm hearing you describe to me, is the idea that either it was a trust situation or a competency situation, that Wilhelm doesn't have control of his own government, and not because of constitutionally it's too much of a democracy or something. It's just he's lost control.
The main constitutional thing is the democracy had nothing to do with it. The democracy, the main thing that the government could do was decide where the money goes, which gave them a lot of power, but at that point that had little to do with budget or money. So the main government doesn't really have too much of an influence. The main thing is Wilhelm trusted the wrong people and didn't have enough confidence in himself. That's my personal reading of his character,
right.
At least.
And I don't think you're wrong.
The problem is not that he didn't have enough power or that he had too much power, but that he didn't trust himself with the power.
And part of it, I would also have to say, is systems. German Empire German Empire is too big for an individual to run. You know, you can an individual can run Luxembourg. You know, he can run every department. He can run around. You know, I mean, obviously he's going to have other people working there, but he can run around and do personal government, and he can be the final court in the land. You know, appeal to the monarch for justice if you think the rest of the system has let you down. You know, so by the time you're getting to the German Empire, an individual cannot do that. You need institutions.
And for us, Wilhelm is largely a figurehead. And the thing is that he does have quite a bit of power according to the constitution, but there's also this kind of, you are talking about consensus, and there is this kind of consensus that yes, he has these powers in theory, but in practice he should not use them because it would get him into trouble with like the military, the parliament, and so on, and the other member states.
Right.
So just because he can do something on paper does mean that he also, out of just like things like consensus, tradition, and so on, he can't really do them, or at least it's expected of him not to do them.
Right.
Like theoretically, Wilhelm could have just refused to declare war, but as pretty much everything expected him and so on to do it, and everyone around him told him and so on.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is part of, again, from an outside perspective, it's part of what gets Germany in trouble in World War I, is that, at least as and I could have this wrong, my understanding is people weren't declaring war against Germany. Germany was declaring war against others based upon treaty obligations, etc. So that they were expanding the war unnecessarily, with particularly the particular cause that they really focus on, of course, is Belgium, but who would have just liked to be neutral, they just would have loved to, stay out of our area and we'll be fine, like the Dutch were. But that is sort of
as usual, neutral as usual.
Yes. And
whether the Netherlands were neutral, though highly favorable towards Germany.
Oh yeah, but it just not fight the war inside our country is sort of what I mean.
Yes.
And
again,
so
that's like the big thing is that the Schlieffenplan, which it also wasn't even designed. This variation of the plan wasn't even designed for this particular two-front war. There was a much better plan that was made for this. Was like the big hindsight thing that this was a god awful terrible idea.
Right.
I don't know about that, but
well, I mean,
I said as a military man, but
yeah, but there's and I don't know the other plans to know how well, even on paper, how well they would work out, let alone in reality.
The main plan probably again, this is me from a layman's perspective saying, is probably would have actually been devastating, because we have at the beginning of the war the French launch a large-scale offensive into Alsace-Lorraine and they get butchered.
I'm jumping out.
I'm going to end this here.
Can I just say this like last?
Sure, please.
Yeah, the French launch a large-scale attack into Alsace-Lorraine and get absolutely slaughtered. Right. This plan would have pretty much had Germany slowly falling back, using certain fortress cities as strong points, luring this French attack, which in the case that Germany does not invade Belgium, according to the French plans themselves, would have been even larger, and then pretty much hold at these strong points. And given what happened in real life, this would have likely led to the absolute slaughter and borderline annihilation of at least like one or two French armies.
Right.
Which would have pretty much crippled French offensive and possibly even defensive abilities in the West.
Yes. And, again, this goes back to, my maxims I don't know if other people say them, but I truly believe in politics is perception, and warfare is a political act. And again, looking at this, because I see British and American propaganda for World War One, or well, any of the wars, partially because it's written in English. So I see it from just purely on that standpoint, if nothing else, that Germany has been portrayed somewhat, but accurately, but as the aggressor in World War One, where I see very much Serbia as the aggressor in World War One, but they have been termed the the victim of the war in propaganda, and partially yes, that's the victor writing the writing the histories, but this is where Britain may have always planned to come into that war on France's side just as a power balancing situation. But had Germany not blatantly gone into Belgium, you would have had the British public a lot less worked up over World War One, so not willing to have so many millions die. I don't know that there's millions of Britons, but there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Britons die in that war. They would not have been willing to suffer the casualties to that level, and they could not have colored the war as trying to defeat the Huns' aggression. And so the whole, all wars need to be looked at not just from a quote unquote military, defeating them in battle perspective, but a political perspective as well, which gets to the perception.
And that, I think, is one of the big problems also Germany had, is just Germany didn't understand just this kind of very emotional thing. One of the things that reminds me of that is the execution of the nurse Edith Cavell,
right?
Which she was executed for espionage, which we now know she actually did do that. And the British made like this whole big thing about like the murder of like an innocent nurse for no reason.
Right. Because you do that in war. I mean, you do that in war. You find the cause.
Again, she was heavily lionized. The funny thing is that the British did the same thing to at least 2 German nurses.
Well, the dancer.
I know you're talking about.
Matahari. Means Matahari.
Matahari, yes, Matahari.
But that's not who I meant. I meant actual German nurses who were on the Entente lines, like nurses,
right?
Helping wounded soldiers, also helping, but also smuggling information and helping soldiers escape and so on, which is what Edith Cavell did.
Right.
And they were executed. And a German officer was actually in response to this said why the Germany wasn't making such a big fuss about it is because he was like, well, they did espionage and were caught, so that's what happens.
Yeah. Right. And see, they fail. Yes. The question, why would you, from a practical matter, why would you kill somebody for espionage? Well, you do that to deter other people from committing the same act, right? So, I mean, you can also talk about justice and whatever, but from a practical standpoint, you do it from committing other people. And as you're saying, had they just simply stopped it, tried to as much publicize her actions, evidence that she was a spy, and then locked her up, that would have stopped that outrage. I mean, that people had, and I didn't remember her name, but I knew the case. I did not know that France had a couple of other German nurses. And see, warfare is not just, again, that violent act. It's we can look again, and I want to end this up, but we can look at, Syria. Syria, the perception today is that Assad's regime is falling, so the soldiers stop fighting for Assad, and so that sort of emotional, political aspect has to always be remembered in everything you do when it comes to warfare or government or whatever else. And so, it's, again, I'll, just because I saw this on Twitter last night, they're trying to convict an American woman for, I don't know if she killed him or not, but stabbing a sexual assaulter in Germany.
Yep, that's how the German law works. My mother actually knew a person who kicked a rapist, her rapist,
right,
in the nuts, so that his genitalia didn't fully function, and she has to pay till the end of her assaulter's life, has to pay him money for the damages she did to his body.
And the Germans don't, the government should just go talk to the system and go, drop those charges, kick her out of the country, don't let her back in. I mean, they should just do that quietly, and whatever they do to German citizens is just kick them out there. Because if I was president of the United States, if I was Trump coming up, what I would do is probably the third day I was in office, I would have her issued a diplomatic passport and hand it to her in her cell and walk her out of Germany. And if she ever wants to
do that too,
and if she ever wants to return to Germany, we'll just let her come in on be an advisor to the embassy of Germany or something on a diplomatic. So screw you, you can't do anything. So long as it was clearly a if this wasn't a post lovers upsetness or something, so long as it was clearly a self-defense, the facts are clearly self-defense, I just say screw it. We're the American empire. You can't go after our person over what we don't consider to be a crime. If you want to treat your citizens that way, go ahead. And if you want to start complaining, well, too bad. What are you going to do? Stop coming.
Yeah,
you're going to
and every fucking sex offender that is really a sex offender needs to be executed.
Well, or at least imprisoned. I get your
money to spend.
Okay, well, okay. Here's the problem with that, Fritz, from a practical standpoint, is if you're that type of person, you'll just see the utility of killing your victim so they can't talk against you, because murder and that rape would be of an equal crime, and so you